Johnny Depp, s'il vous plaît.
I found this. Can I keep it? Bonjour.
Je ferai la traduction, sauf quand ce sera en français. Johnny, I will do this translation. But if you want to speak in French, just I know that the audience likes that here, so.
Yeah, quand ça vient, ça vient.
Okay. You don't have your recorder, which is, kind of a cult moment for French, when at the César. When you didn't bring it today.
No, I didn't. I didn't prepare the recorder. But I thought it was a nicer. It was the most honest way to make this speech at that time. Was to try to speak French, and the thought of doing it live at the Césars was. It would have been a complete abomination. So I recorded it.
Pour ceux qui n'ont pas compris, je lui parlais de l'enregistrement qu'il avait fait au moment des Césars, où il avait préparé un remerciement avec un recorder, un petit enregistreur, et il me disait que c'était pour lui que c'était très important de parler français et de venir comme ça, mais que live il se sentait pas de le faire face à cette assemblée. Donc ce soir, on va brièvement essayer de repasser tout le fil de la carrière de Johnny Depp. Je m'arrêterai sur des rôles emblématiques parce que c'est un acteur qui est très qui a incarné des rôles qui sont devenus cultes. Donc on va s'arrêter comme ça sur certains rôles qui ont émaillé sa carrière. So tonight we are going to dig your filmography and to go back to some key roles of yours, and maybe you can just recollect some memories and how you work, because this is what really interests me and what interests people, I think. But before going to the role, maybe we can begin with the beginning, childhood, and most for me most interesting is that before movies there was music, and you said that your first enlightenment was Van Morrison's Astral Weeks.
Astral Weeks.
Avant de repasser ses rôles en revue, je voudrais qu'on revienne d'abord à son enfance et surtout à un moment clé de son histoire, qui est le moment où il découvre non pas le cinéma mais la musique, et Astral Weeks de Van Morrison. What's the effect and what did it convey to you as a child?
I remember very clearly at the age of probably 11 or 12, roughly. At the time, there was a record that was very, very popular, and it was Peter Frampton's record, Frampton Comes Alive. And I remember I was playing that record in my bedroom, and my older brother, Danny, who's 10 years older than me, he came in and he flicked he flicked the needle off the record, and then he threw the record across the room, and then he grabbed Astral Weeks and put it on the player, and he said, "If you want to listen to music, listen to real music." And when he put on Astral Weeks, it was a revelation, because it was outside of my sphere of knowledge. It was outside my taste, even, because at that time you're learning what your taste is. So that was the first record he turned me on to. Then he turned me on to the soundtrack to Last Tango in Paris.
Wow.
And then Clockwork Orange. So there were 3 records that were very, very different from anything I'd listened to before, but my appreciation for music and the potential sonically, what you could create, my obsession began, then searching outside, not the radio, not what they want to feed you, but what I want to feed myself,
En fait, il écoutait un. What was the name of the record you were listening to before? That's weird.
It was called, it was Peter Frampton, it was called Frampton Comes Alive. It was a live album, yeah.
Frampton Comes Alive, c'était des disques qu'il écoutait, et un jour son grand frère qui avait 10 ans de plus est arrivé, c'était donc sur des 33 tours, il est arrivé, il a éjecté le manche du tourne-disque, et il lui a dit: si tu dois écouter de la musique, écoute de la bonne musique. Et il lui a mis Astral Weeks de Van Morrison. Je conseille à tous ceux qui sont là et qui ne connaissent pas d'aller sur YouTube. C'est une expérience qui peut changer votre vie, comme elle a changé en tout cas celle de Johnny Depp, puisque à partir de ce moment-là, il a découvert que voilà, il pouvait aller chercher ailleurs, en fait, qu'il n'était pas obligé d'écouter ce que lui donnait la radio, ce que les médias ou le mainstream lui donnaient de manière presque automatique, et qu'il y avait une vie en fait dans les marges globalement. Et son grand frère lui a donné donc le disque Astral Weeks, lui a conseillé d'écouter Last Tango in Paris, le dernier tango à Paris, Gâteau Barbieri, if I'm correct, et également Clockwork Orange, Orange Mécanique, la bande originale donc du film de Stanley Kubrick. Et c'est ce qui lui a ouvert de nouveaux horizons. How did the music after I guess that you played guitar and you were like in a band, but how did the music inform the way you were going to perform? Did you make the link from the beginning between the acting stuff and the music stuff?
No. When my obsession with the guitar came to me at 12, that was it. I had found everything that I needed. In fact, I can remember coming home from school, going directly into my room and just playing guitar for hours, or learning how to play, listening to records, or just trying to learn by ear, and for days and months, and eventually years. I don't remember puberty at all. I don't. I was playing the guitar and drooling,
Quand il a commencé à écouter cette musique, il est devenu complètement obsédé par la guitare. Il s'est mis à jouer à partir de l'âge de 12 ans sur cet instrument, et il ne faisait plus que ça. Il se rappelle plus du tout de la puberté, et ce qui l'intéressait, c'était juste jouer dans sa chambre, jouer de la guitare. And then going through, you had a band, The Kids, I think. The Kids. Et donc après, il a eu un groupe qui s'appelait The Kids, and then The Kids, you went to Los Angeles with The Kids, I guess. And donc il va avec les Kids à Los Angeles. The Kids splits. I'm going very fast, but because I want to come to movies, and then when it splits, you decide to go to the acting business. How was the first time you thought that you were going to play?
As he said, I was in a band and had been in the band since I was 17, and we played constantly. And we moved to Los Angeles and became just another band in Los Angeles, which is generally what happens. We had some, we did shows, we opened for a lot of acts and things like that. And then the band kind of just, it sort of went away very abruptly. And honestly, I needed to make money, So I was filling out applications at like video stores or bookstores or any kind of store, anything. And then my friend, way back when, Nick Cage, said, I think you should meet my agent. I think you're an actor. And at that point, I would have met his grandmother for a job. So it was that. So I really had no interest at all in becoming an actor. I'm not sure I've ever decided to become an actor yet.
Juste pour donc en fait il a ce groupe qui l'emmène à Los Angeles et puis il faisait des premières parties, ça marchait pas mal, mais un jour le groupe se sépare comme tous les groupes de rock et à un moment donné voilà, il est obligé de vivre et pour gagner sa vie il fait plein de petits boulots comme ça, et à un moment donné il est à cette époque ami avec Nicolas Cage. Et à un moment donné, Nicolas Cage, qui lui était déjà un peu dans le movie business, lui dit si tu veux, je te présente à mon agent. Et c'est comme ça en fait qu'il a eu ses premiers rôles. Et il rajoutait je ne sais toujours pas aujourd'hui si j'ai vraiment décidé d'être un acteur. Since you mentioned it, you've already said that you didn't know if you decided to become an actor. But I was wondering, how did you never learned any techniques, or you never read books, Stanislavski or whatever? Is it really pure instinct, the way you are acting?
No, because there was a point when I realized that I had been somehow placed on another road, and that road was in the. It seemed to be in the acting world, and once I realized that was the road I was on, and that I was to take. That's when I dug in and studied at a place. It was a famous acting, facility for drama coaches and theater, the Loft Studio. So I studied there for a while, and then, but mostly what was two things. Reading the right books, starting at the beginning, which is with, the beginning is an actor prepares, Stanislavski. You have to get through that book first, and then you can approach the next. So essentially what I've done is I've just hand-picked the bits that I find help, or that I can use within the work. And even to this day, within the acting, when I'm making a film, music is still a huge part of it, because music is the instant. It's instantly effective with regard to emotion. a certain song will take you back to some memory from childhood or whatever, and you apply these things to the words or the work.
I love that regarding that you are a lot of time at screen mute. You work with music. I love this idea, but we'll go on that later. En fait, donc je lui demandais, c'est quelque chose qu'il a toujours dit, ça, qu'il il se demandait encore s'il était acteur et si c'était vraiment, voilà, s'il y avait une vocation ou s'il se sentait vraiment comédien dans l'âme. Mais je lui demandais si, justement, vu les gens, vu son parcours et vu les gens avec lesquels il avait travaillé, si à aucun moment il avait senti le besoin en fait, d'apprendre la technique, la maîtrise. Et donc, ce que Johnny répondait, c'est qu'en fait, il l'a fait à un moment donné, quand il a vu que justement il était en train de devenir acteur, qu'il était en train d'emprunter cette voie. Il s'est dit qu'il était peut-être temps justement d'acquérir les bases. Il a été dans une école de coach d'acting, de Loft Studio, which is in LA. New York, yeah, qui était donc Love Studio, qui était à LA. Et cette école, donc lui, voilà, il avait effectivement appris les bases. Il avait aussi lu à ce moment les grands ouvrages classiques, et notamment Stanislavski, qui est un grand théoricien sur le jeu d'acteur. Et par ailleurs, il me disait, mais quand moi je joue, quand je commence un rôle, en fait, ce qui est le plus important pour moi, pour la technique, pour ce que je vais imprimer au rôle que je vais jouer, c'est la musique. Parce que la musique, en fait, a quelque chose d'instinct, d'immédiat. C'est quelque chose qui provoque des émotions immédiates, et c'est ça qui me permet de transmettre les émotions que je vais essayer de transmettre au spectateur à l'écran. So, the first place where we can start is, I don't know what you're feeling today about this, 21 Jump Street. Yes. Tom on Son, and not on some, but on Son. Yeah. Okay. How did you get there, and what did you learn with this role, which is the first really big role that you get and that propels you on the stage?
Yes. When I got a phone call from my agent at that time, and television was the devil, you know.
For you or for
me?
Okay.
For sure, was the devil, because television at the time was the parameters, it was very controlled, very small. Everything was very formulaic. Everything had to be done, ding, 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 ding. You know. So, and also when you start to realize, you know, that these people at the time, 20th Century Fox, had turned me into some product that I wasn't. Yeah, that tends to spook you out a little. I feel a lot of different things about that period, that show. One, I feel that it was the best schooling that I could have had, because there's no better way to learn the process than just doing it, and doing it every day for hours and hours on end, for months and months and months out of the year, you know, 7-9 months out of the year. It's a great education in the process of making a film or whatever. So you learn quite a lot. The problem that I had was I was trying to fight the labels. I don't like the idea of being labeled as something, or well, because it's too simple. It's done to death, you know. Back then they would say, the new James Dean. Today, few of the media know who James Dean is, which is a tragedy, you know. But so I wanted to get fired from that show, and I tried for 2 years, and they wouldn't fire me. And I tried almost everything. Rubber band around my tongue, because if you're an actor and you've made a character choice, it's really nothing to do with them. So if I put a rubber band around the back of my tongue and I say that my character has a speech impediment, because the producers weren't smiling.
But you are.
Oh, I was smiling. Yeah. But it still didn't get me fired. It just made me look like an ass, which is fine.
Sur 21 Jump Street, donc il a eu un coup de fil de son agent pour lui dire que voilà, il avait été casté pour jouer un flic dans des écoles. Wasn't it ironic that you left school at 15 and you were playing a cop in school, which is kind of crazy. Anyway. Donc il jouait ce flic infiltré dans les écoles, alors qu'il avait, ce que je venais de lui dire, alors qu'il venait de quitter l'école, alors qu'il avait quitté l'école très très tôt. Et donc il a eu au début beaucoup de problèmes, enfin pas au début, mais il a toujours détesté en fait faire ce show pour une raison bête, c'est que pour lui je comprenais pas, pardon. Je croyais qu'on me demandait de m'arrêter.
They're waving at you, so I'm waving to
okay.
them for you.
Et donc it's going to be tough. Et donc ce qui l'embêtait, c'était la télé. Pour lui, c'était le diable, c'est-à-dire effectivement tout rapetissé, tout dans des petits cadres, des petits formats, c'était vraiment l'enfer. Mais il l'a fait, et évidemment, et rétrospectivement, même si à l'époque il a eu beaucoup de mots durs contre la série, rétrospectivement, c'est quand même ce qui lui a permis d'abord d'être connu. Et puis aussi, ça a été une très bonne école, parce qu'il y avait un rythme de tournage qui était très, 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 très dense, très intense, et que c'était vraiment c'était le meilleur moyen pour lui, justement, d'apprendre le métier de comédien. Il raconte aussi que très vite il a voulu se faire virer, qu'il a fait beaucoup de choses pour se faire virer, notamment se mettre du scotch autour de la langue, parce que en fait, comme c'était tout bête, c'est que c'était une option de créativité sur son personnage, et que personne ne pouvait rien lui dire. Donc les producteurs voyaient qu'il s'était mis un truc en disant ah oui, j'ai un problème d'élocution ce matin, quand il arrivait et qu'il jouait son personnage, mais évidemment ça faisait pas rire les producteurs, et pendant 2 ans ils ont refusé de le virer, et puis finalement au bout de 2 ans, have you been fired? No. Non, il a même pas réussi à se faire virer en fait. Non. You try hard.
I tried very hard. I was. What happened was, I was filming Edward Scissorhands,
Okay.
and I got a phone call from my agent who said that Fox had missed the date that they were supposed to let me know that we were doing another season. They hadn't made the date, so on legal bounds I was free. Okay. So I felt like Nelson Mandela instantly, you know.
Il s'est senti comme Nelson Mandela quand il est sorti de prison, quand il a arrêté 21 Jump Street. En fait, son agent, you are already shooting Scissorhands? No. Ok. Il tournait déjà Edward aux mains d'argent avec Tim Burton et en fait il a eu un coup de fil de son agent qui lui a dit ils ont oublié de renouveler ton contrat donc tu es libre et c'est pour ça qu'il s'est senti libre. You were speaking about Edward Scissorhands, which is like there is of course Cry Baby, which is kind of very important in your career. If we just 1 minute about Cry Baby, what I love is the last shot of the movie. J'adore le dernier plan personnellement du film Cry Baby de John Waters. You're crying. You are finally crying, and I always seen this shot as a metaphor of, you know, at last you were free of 21 Jump Street, free of garbage stuff, and that you were becoming an actor. Was it something that you had in mind when you were doing this movie?
Definitely. I had been doing the series. I had been doing Jump Street for a couple of years, and there were film offers that came in, but the film offers that came in were exactly the thing that you would expect for a young actor coming up. Give him a gun, give him a beautiful girl, give him some criminal activity to sort of fight against, and then whatever the rest of that movie is, which we've seen. We've all seen thousands and thousands of times. So I waited and waited and didn't do any film waiting for the right one. And then one day, a script came from John Waters called Cry Baby. And John had done his research, so he knew that I was at the time, on all these like sort of teen magazines, there's my head, and he knew that I was not comfortable with that attention, or so he chose to write the film with me in mind. He said he felt like a horrible pervert when he went to the magazine stands to buy all these teeny bopper magazines at the time to write the script. But when Cry Baby came and I read it, I knew there was no question that's the first step I take in on my road. So I had planned to do what I could to build my own road. So Cry Baby was the first and most important for that.
Je lui disais que donc j'adore le plan final de Cry Baby où on voit Johnny Depp qui est on va dire c'est une relecture pour ceux qui ne l'ont pas vu, c'est une relecture de West Side Story dans les années 50s avec l'affrontement de deux gangs et le problème du personnage de Cry Baby, c'est qu'il ne peut pas pleurer et à la fin du film, ne vous inquiétez pas, c'est pas un spoiler, mais à la fin du film, il pleure et son visage est en larmes et j'ai toujours vu cette image comme une espèce de métaphore du fait que c'était la naissance de Johnny Depp acteur qui se libérait de ce qu'il avait fait avant, les enchaînements de séries un peu nuls, même si j'aime beaucoup 21 Jump Street, je devrais pas le dire. Pardon. Non, mais j'ai beaucoup d'affection aussi pour la série.
Non, c'est bien.
Et donc, il me raconte que donc à l'époque, en fait, c'est John Waters qui lui a transmis le scénario et qui effectivement avait vu les couvertures. On n'imagine peut-être pas ce que c'était à l'époque l'impact de 21 Jump Street, mais Johnny était devenu une star. Une teen star, vraiment. Il y avait son portrait sur tous les magazines, voilà. Et John Waters avait vu ça, avait vraisemblablement flashé sur sa gueule d'ange et parfaitement mise en valeur d'ailleurs par les revues de l'époque. Et l'idée, c'était voilà, de lui proposer ce rôle pour briser aussi une manière d'être. Et John Waters raconte que quand il allait dans les librairies pour acheter des dizaines de revues, il avait l'impression d'être un pervers pour acheter les magazines d'ados. Mais c'est effectivement le premier film où il a eu l'impression de se libérer et de tracer le premier acte en fait de ce qui allait devenir une carrière. You are speaking about a career. Do you view your own work as a career now? Est-ce qu'il voit justement sa filmographie comme une carrière qu'il aurait façonné that you would have shaped through the years?
I think I use the word career only as it's like a faiblesse. Of what's another word for what I've done? I have no idea. I know that I've done some films and I made choices, and those things exist. And somehow the choices that I made and those films are will always be a part of my life. So it's a part of one's legacy, I suppose. So yeah, career is it's not a word I was ever very comfortable with. It's like the word fan. I'm not as comfortable with using the word fan because they're people. They're the people who go to the cinema to watch the film and pay their hard-earned money. So fan was never a good. It's never a word that I liked because before I would call anyone a fan, they're my employers, they're my boss, and they're the studio's boss. And I think it's time that the studios understand that you guys are the boss, not them. You know?
Donc je vais traduire, mais je vais commencer par la fin. Johnny était en train d'expliquer qu'il n'aime pas le mot fan parce que le terme fan pour lui est un peu dévalorisant, dégradant, et qu'il considère que ce sont les gens en fait des gens qui vont au cinéma, qui aiment le cinéma, et que ce sont, il n'utilise pas le terme de fan, il dit ce sont mes employés, mes employeurs, les gens qui décident en fait, qui payent leur place, qui font vivre cette industrie, et il serait temps peut-être que les studios comprennent ça aussi. Thank you. Et avant, oui, juste cette idée de carrière, je lui demandais s'il avait l'impression d'avoir construit une carrière, construit quelque chose de cohérent. I think that there is a coherence.
There's a coherence there, and there is in a strange way there's a monofilament, you know.
Yes.
Through each character, there's a relation with each character. Each character has, no matter how different, which is some, I suppose, one would describe as outsiders. I would say just not necessarily outsiders, but most definitely not insiders, you know, not interested. And the characters that I play, there's a broken quality to each, because there's a broken quality to each of us. So these are the fine points that you try to shape the character towards. So they are related, even though they're quite different. But so definitely had a plan in mind for me. I just didn't know what means how I would use it, because I didn't know what films would be coming or not,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So it was the early films. Every time out was a roll of the dice, because if they didn't make money, then the studios didn't look at you. And for about 20 years, my films didn't make very much money.
Je lui demandais donc s'il y avait une carrière, et donc au début il expliquait que c'était surtout il aimait pas tellement ce terme de carrière, que c'était pour lui c'était des films qui se superposaient les uns aux autres, qui s'additionnaient, mais que le terme de carrière n'était pas quelque chose que c'était un mot qu'il utilisait par manque de voilà, quand il n'y avait pas d'autres mots possibles. Mais je rajoutais quand même qu'il y avait quand même malgré tout une cohérence dans sa filmographie. Alors est-ce qu'on appelle ça une carrière, j'en sais rien, mais qu'il y avait une cohérence, et Denis expliquait que effectivement il y avait au moins la cohérence de cette idée que tous ces personnages sont globalement, enfin les personnages principaux les plus importants sont yes hot que tous ces personnages étaient des outsiders, ou en tout cas n'étaient pas des insiders. Donc c'est vrai que c'est quelque chose qui caractérise tous ces personnages, et que c'était important pour lui, et que ce qu'il aimait en fait c'était aller chercher le côté cassé des gens. Il aime bien les personnages un peu cassés, broken quality of characters, et parce qu'il pense qu'on a tous quelque chose en nous de cassé. There is a saying, I've written it down somewhere, but anyway, I love that Tim Burton, because we are going to speak about Tim Burton. Tim Burton said that you like people that are broken, that are yeah, you're broken too. So so you like people that are broken.
Je comprends, moi
And there
aussi.
is a lot of
Très
girls
classé.
in the audience that are broken now. So I guess. Maybe
C'est bien. On est pas mal, on est bien. On est cassé, mais on est là.
Just before going to Tim Burton, just one question, because there is a beautiful documentary here in Deauville, which is called Val, which is the home movies of Val Kilmer, and he made a beautiful, intimate documentary about himself and his life and his career.
Beautiful.
And yeah, really. I don't know if you've seen it, but
No.
you should try it, because it's really. And je dis juste que ce qu'il vient de dire me fait penser à un moment dans Val, qui est le documentaire qu'on peut voir ici sur Val Kilmer. Val said that he tried hard to not to do always blockbuster, and I know that it's your case, and he said that it's a path where you are very much alone when you choose this road. Val Kilmer a dit dans le film que c'est à un moment donné il en avait marre de faire des blockbusters, il a arrêté Batman, voilà, parce qu'il ne pouvait pas faire son métier correctement, son métier d'acteur, et dans le documentaire il dit que c'est un moment donné où il s'est retrouvé choisir justement ne pas faire les blockbusters, ne pas jouer le jeu de l'industrie, not playing regarding the industry game, l'a rendu seul, et l'a vraiment condamné à une forme de solitude. And I wanted to know if it was your case, if you felt alone, and that you knew that it was a brave, audacious move.
The idea of any accolade, like courage or bravery, or some people have said that about certain choices that I've made. Some people have said that about choices that I didn't make, that it was brave or courageous to not do those films at the time because they were huge films. But I think it really I couldn't say that it was bravery or courage necessarily, because it could have been pure ignorance what I was doing.
Yeah.
And every time that I made a film, it was as I said, you roll the dice every time. There was every opportunity, and this was important to me. It's still important to me. There's every chance that I could fall flat on my face and fail completely with a character. But if you committed to that character and you believe in that personnage, sorry. I won't say that word again.
That's your French.
If you
It's
believe
French
in that
proverb.
character, and you've already made the commitment in your head, it probably has more to do with just irreverence and ignorance than courage. I just knew that I couldn't, me personally, I couldn't go out there and do those films. Because for me, I suppose at the time, you know, I was thinking early on, you know, Jesus, I guess I'm supposed to be an actor now. So I know I don't want to be that, one of those, you know, the things that come out of big factories, assembly line.
Products.
Product. I wanted to at least try to approach it in a sort of punk rock sense, you know. Yeah, to be a punk rock actor, I suppose.
Il a jamais, en fait, je lui disais donc que Val Kilmer disait que c'était un choix quand même qui était très fort parce que on se retrouvait seul, et je lui demandais s'il fallait une forme de courage.
That's also the thing that I wanted to say about what Val says. When Val says that you feel very alone when you make these choices, because there is risk, of course. There's risk involved. You do feel very alone, but you must. Il faut. Yeah. Who else?
Yeah.
It's here.
you.
It's you. So you have to. If it's a miserable feeling, that's the cards you got dealt, pal. Look at your cards and play them. You know.
That was the courage I was speaking of, actually.
You just. Somebody hands you the ball, man.
Yeah.
You have to run.
Donc je lui demandais s'il refusait des films qu'il avait fait, de films prestigieux qu'il avait refusés pour aller tourner avec Jim Jarmusch ou Tim Burton ou Terry Gilliam. Est-ce qu'il fallait une forme de courage particulier? Il dit non, c'est pas du courage, c'est plutôt de l'ignorance, parce qu'on ne sait pas ce qu'on va on va faire avec ce personnage. On ne sait pas. On a envie de s'investir dans ce personnage. On ne sait pas ce qu'on va en faire, et rien ne compte d'autre que l'investissement qu'on met dans la création de ce caractère. Par ailleurs, on n'a surtout pas envie, en fait, d'être un produit comme tous ceux que l'industrie peut déployer, enfin peut produire à longueur de temps. On n'a pas envie d'être ça. Il se vit comme un acteur, un punk rock actor. Which is a good definition, I think. un acteur punk rock, et voilà. Et par ailleurs, il rajoute que par rapport à ce que disait Val, il y a une forme de solitude, mais c'est une solitude qui est en fait qui est normale, puisque la décision de jouer ou ne pas jouer, elle est personnelle, et il n'y a que lui qui peut la prendre. Donc cette solitude, elle est au fond naturelle. Is that so? Yeah. Tim Burton. Edward Scissorhands, do you recall two things first? Do you remember who was first casted for the role. Je lui demande s'il se souvient de qui était à la base prévu pour jouer Edward Scissorhands.
At the time, I was doing 21 Jump Street, and I was asked to go and have a meeting with Tim Burton. This was, 89. And I had just done Crybaby, and it was for the role of Edward Scissorhands, and I was sent the screenplay, and the screenplay made me sob like a child. I cried like an infant, man, like a newborn. It was so it touched me, it just moved me greatly, and so much so that I called my agent and canceled the meeting with Tim because I was sure there was no way he would cast me in the part. And at the time, everyone in Hollywood and beyond were all sort of dying to play the part of Edward Scissorhands. And I mean, Michael Jackson wanted the part. Tom Hanks was talked about. Other actors, but who 20th Century Fox thought would be the best option for Edward Scissorhands at the time was Tom Cruise.
Donc,
and he would have been great in his own way.
à l'époque, donc, il était encore sur 21 Jump Street. Il reçoit le script de Edward Scissorhands. Il le lit et il se met à pleurer. I guess that you sob because of the beauty of the part of the story.
The purity, the innocence, I had envy of that life, that pure heart.
Et donc il pleure devant la pureté, l'innocence de cette histoire et l'envie de jouer ce rôle, à tel point qu'il annule le rendez-vous qui avait été fixé avec Tim Burton en disant bon, de toute façon ça sert à rien, j'aurai jamais ce rôle. Surtout que à l'époque beaucoup de stars étaient déjà pressentis pour ou en tout cas avaient été sur les rangs pour jouer Edward. On avait pensé à Michael Jackson, on avait pensé à Tom Hanks, il y a d'autres noms, et il y a notamment mais celui que le studio voulait était Tom Cruise, qui, selon Johnny, aurait été parfait dans un autre registre. I guess that, yeah, in another way, because, you know, I've read, I don't know if it's only a myth or whatever, I've read that he didn't do it because he wanted that at the end the character has his face reconstructed. I don't know
and he has hands and he's a man.
Yeah, I read that. Is it true?
That's apparently those were the notes that Tom Cruise had given.
Et on dit que Tom Cruise aurait refusé finalement parce que il voulait que, enfin en tout cas il aurait aimé, c'est pas qu'il a refusé parce que on va voir la suite de l'histoire, mais il voulait que le personnage récupère son visage reconstruit et récupère ses mains à la fin de l'histoire pour que Tom Cruise apparaisse dans toute sa
so he could become Tom Cruise at the end of the movie.
Tom Cruise, yeah, of course.
I would have played Tom Cruise at the end of the movie. That would have been.
Il aurait pu jouer.
I'd like to do that.
Yeah. So but Tim Burton, you've met him and what happened?
I finally did have the meeting with Tim Burton, and I flew to Los Angeles and went to met him at a coffee shop. I'd never seen him before, but I'm looking around the joint, trying to see if I can figure out who he is. And I saw this guy with like hair sticking up all over the place. He looked very nervous. He was sitting at a table by himself, drinking coffee, and I thought, it's got to be him. So I went over and we met, and we had a great we instantly hit it off and understood one another. And Tim was one of the first to understand me, and yeah, me and who I am. So he and I spoke for about 3.5 hours. We drank about 7 pots of coffee, and by the time I left there, I was chewing on my spoon, literally chewing on it. So it was a great meeting, but I thought it's never going to happen. And then 1 month later, I got the phone call that said, "Hey, you're Edward Scissorhands," you know, which that was the moment I knew. As I had with Crybaby, there was the first step. Scissorhands, the second step, put me on a strong foundation, but my own foundation. Those 2 films would set the tone for where I was going. And Tim was very, very brave to cast me. Very brave. Over all those people. And he saw something that he recognized, because essentially Edward Scissorhands is Tim Burton at the age of 16. You know, that was his drawing. So when he gave me the opportunity to bring that character to life, at that moment I thought, if I do just these 2 movies and they don't let me do any more, I'm good, man, I'm okay, fine.
Donc, il a eu un rendez-vous avec Tim Burton qui a duré 3h30. Il l'a retrouvé dans un coffee shop et il y avait ce type avec des cheveux un peu bizarres, avec voilà, qui avait l'air un peu nerveux en buvant son 15e café de la journée. Et voilà, il a tout de suite compris que c'était lui. Ses mains, like Edward. Et ils ont parlé pendant 3h30 et ils se sont compris immédiatement. C'est